it's really important to talk about what demand actually means. Almost universally, a man, although not exclusively, but almost universally, a man decides that he wants to pay somebody for sex. He cannot know reliably whether that person is being exploited by a third party or exploited by circumstances. He maybe goes online to look for that person and reviews lists of people like menu items on a menu, restaurant menu on a website, selects somebody, calls that number, has no idea if that's the same person that he just selected, has no idea if that person is over 18 or not, because there's no age verification or reliable regulation of those websites at all. Something plays out, but they have sex, and then it's over and he goes away, and he has no idea whether that was a rape that he just committed or something else. We're not talking about single transactions here. We're talking about tens and tens and hundreds of thousands and millions of transactions. $1 billion a year is generated off of trafficking for sexual exploitation. At $100 a transaction, that's 1 billion transactions per year, or 2,000 a minute with trafficking victims. I'm not even talking about buying sex generally. We're talking about 2,000 transactions a minute with trafficking victims. The reason I explain that is because that's critical to understand what you do to respond to that. How do you stop something like that? And the way that you stop is by a number of different ways, including starting with prevention. Teaching young boys from an early age about what consensual sex and relationships actually look like, what gender equality looks like, why buying sex is inconsistent with those. There's no way we're going to get to gender equality while also allowing prostitution. It's not possible, because one assumes the subjugation of the other. Talking with college men about the connections between pornography and sexual violence and sex buying and so forth. Engaging with employers to say, employers, your employees are doing this on their work time, with your work computer, with your work identification. So you need to adopt a policy and prevent that from happening. Talking with criminal justice policymakers to ensure that if they go so far as to do it, that they need to be held accountable. And then setting up education programs to try to prevent recidivism. That's just a brief snapshot of the level of intervention that you need to try to stop something that is so huge that it is 1 billion transactions a year. That's what it takes.